Hi again! In this lesson, we'll have a look at the different clothing that our Kung Fu characters can wear. Let's get started! The reason why I'm showing you different pieces of clothing and possibilities is because when it comes to designing a Kung Fu character, you need to know which traditional and modern outfits are. This way, you'll be able to use them together with your imagination to create your characters. But first, we need to become familiar with the basic features. It's like drawing members of a tribe or something like that. In this case, we need to do some research about them before. Plus, warriors' clothing speak of the warrior. With this, I mean that every piece of clothing shows a particular facet of the martial artist. Thus, the clothes our character wear are quite significant. So the first thing we're going to do is draw quickly a girl to add the clothing. I've selected a woman instead of a man since there are specific female costumes that we are going to use and this way we can apply them. Women can wear both male and female clothes, however it's not frequent for men's case. This is why we're working with a woman. The first thing we are going to do is to draw the body parts by section so that they fit together perfectly. Let's make a frontal view. You can use as reference a real model that you can get from the internet and try to copy the rib cage, the pelvic girdle, and the limbs so that everything is placed correctly. Remember that when drawing the anatomy of a character, we must start by drawing the basic structure with general and geometric sections and then finish up the anatomy. In my case, I'm making a simple cartoon-style drawing and won't focus too much in the anatomy. This is just an example of the clothes that our character may wear. We don't need to pay much attention to the anatomy. What I'm doing, as you can see, is highlighting the outline of the sketch I just made to get the final anatomy that we are going to use for drawing the clothing. I'm exaggerating the size and proportions in some areas, since I'm making it in a cartoon style, so don't worry. Use your own style when creating your character. I recommend that you use a frontal view because it's better to apply the clothing and decide which ones your character are going to wear. Well, now let's start with a series of reference pictures I chose and use costumes that appear on them for our character. First, we have this woman wearing a tunic, more or less up to her knees, a pair of trousers and socks, which are quite high. We don't have to go into much detail when drawing the clothes. Right now, we just want to check how the clothing look on the character to decide if we want to use them or not. The most important, though, is to mark properly the volumes of each piece of clothing. If there are pieces of clothing that are tighter, adjust them to the body of the character, and if they are bigger, leave some space between them. This will improve your work and give you a realistic idea of how the clothes will look like. Kung Fu outfits are usually quite large in some parts and tighter in others. It depends on if the outfit includes a sash, the socks we mentioned before, or a more or less tight pair of trousers. Let's move on to the next image. In this one, it can be observed that the woman is wearing a pretty long tunic with a sash. She's also wearing some slightly tight trousers and socks over them. On top of the socks, they wear typical ribbons that are normally crossed and generate crosses around the leg. As a general rule, characters are never barefoot. They sometimes train barefoot, but it's not common in Kung Fu. They normally wear shoes called feiyu. Feiyu are the classic shoes for practicing Kung Fu. You can find more information about these shoes on the internet. Have a look at this character. He's wearing an open vest. In our case, I'm going to draw a t-shirt under it to cover the girl's chest. He's wearing a sash over the vest, which is open above and under the sash. He also wears baggy trousers and a pair of socks over them. What the socks do is to cover the leg. Well, guys, now I'm going to copy the hairstyles of the reference images. That's up to you if you do it or not. There are lots of references. In this picture over here, we have the traditional Western training suit. The trousers are quite baggy and have some ribbons around them. In this case, he's not wearing socks. Some people wear them and others don't. Regarding the t-shirts, they may vary. We can find t-shirts, tank tops, etc. Choose the one you want. And also this character over here is barefoot. Okay, for this character, we'll take as a reference the outfit that wears the woman of the reference image. It's a kind of kimono with a long sash which goes from the waist to the floor. The part of the legs is open and the trousers are showing out, which are quite big. The sleeves are quite big and long as well. In this case, the hands are visible since she has their arms up. And in this picture, there's a character with a quite long Chinese shirt, which is a bit open at the bottom. The sleeves go up to the elbows. The trousers are baggy and of straight cut. Under them, he's wearing the feiju. This character over here is much more artistic. It's common in movies. In some movies, we can see that both female and male characters wear long and wide tunics with quite big sleeves. This contributes to the visual effects and emphasizes the kung fu poses. We can also appreciate the use of weapons in this image, but also in the previous ones. In the next picture, we can see the man with a naked torso. What we can do when applying it to the girl is to draw a top made of bandages. This will give the character a wild appearance. Okay. And this is the next outfit, which is the traditional outfit for kung fu fights and exhibitions. As you can see, the tunic is pretty long and goes up to the knees. The trousers are baggy and the shoes she wears are more like sneakers. Okay, and the last picture we have is a Shaolin monk. I guess that you've heard of Shaolin monks. These are the monks that practice kung fu inside the Temple of China. Shaolin monks wear tunics that show half of their torso, baggy tunics, the typical socks on top of them, and a feiju. They normally wear these strings called mala. Probably this is the piece of clothing that we are more used to. If you search for kung fu on internet, the results normally show you the Shaolin monks. They are that important since, as we mentioned in previous lessons, kung fu first appeared in the Shaolin Temple. Therefore, if you want to reflect a classical style on your characters, I recommend that you use these clothes. Okay guys, now that you are familiar with the typical kung fu uniforms, we are ready to start talking about action lines in the following lesson. We are going to learn how to make motion and action lines that you'll be able to apply to your characters. Hope you liked the lesson. See you in the next video.